Guys, there's some news in the sports world. I don't know if people are aware of the university, George Washington University. They used to be nicknamed the Colonials. Well, guess what? They have rebranded. They are now the George Washington University Revolutionaries because Colonials is problematic. Can't have that as a nickname anymore. Colonialism, bad. It's the English's fault. It's not our fault. It's the English. We were just doing what Daddy taught us. But here are people from George Washington University spin zoning the change from Colonials to Revolutionaries.
I really like the Revolutionaries. I think it really fits with our GW, like with our aesthetic and everything else.
Revolutionaries are bold. They embody creativity and passion. Revolutionaries are change makers. They're not content with the status quo.
Because it really embodies the spirit of GW.
Let's go Revolutionaries.
I like Revolutionaries because it references George Washington in a positive way.
It alludes to the original foundation of our country, and it has a modern application as well.
It refers to George Washington in a positive way. That guy. Okay, I mean, I get it. There's some problematic elements with George Washington, but hey, like, why not just be the George Washington Washingtons? Huh? I think that works. The George Washington wooden chompers? The George Washington chompers, because he supposedly had wooden teeth. I don't know. The George Washington Generals. That is a very easy one. But, okay, the Revolutionaries. That one really rolls off the tongue. Why not just the Revolution? Like the soccer team that you have in New England. I don't know. Anyway, they've rebranded. RJ, do you like the nickname Revolutionaries?
What? I mean, what else are you, if you're going to keep like the George Washington? I mean, what you really don't have too many options.
George Washington Generals is so easy. There's a little bit of alliteration. It's not too many syllables like that. I think that was the way to go. But perhaps military is a little problematic too at GWU. I don't know. Anyway, there's another perhaps nickname change coming. This could be in the NFL. The Washington Commanders lost out on their application to trademark Washington Commanders due to a likelihood of confusion with the Commanders Classic, a yearly college football game between Air Force and Army that's already trademarked. Okay, I doubt that's ever going to happen. We're talking about the NFL versus like the college football rivalry that, let's be honest, not many people care about. No offense to the Air Force. My dad went to the Air Force Academy for a little bit, but no one really cares about the Air Force Academy versus anybody. It's just Army Navy, right? That's the only one people care about. So that one's trademarked. Okay, but no one is going to confuse an NFL team with that. There's another trademark that some DC area man filed, the Washington Space Commanders, Washington Wolf Commanders. So we sent them in, and I guess because those trademarks exist, that means that they can't approve Washington Commanders quite yet. But I guess there's a chance they might have to change the nickname if they can't actually get the trademark.
Is there anything there in your mind, Paul, that quickly you could say, we're going to change it to this? Because
Washington Hogs. And I know that people might think about sexual innuendo when I say hogs. But back in the 70s, the Washington Redskins were known for their offensive linemen called the Hogs. That was a part of their nickname. There were people coming to the stadium that were wearing pig face masks. I think Hogs works. The color is kind of similar, like a burgundy hog. Like it's kind of similar to what Arkansas's got going on with the Razorbacks. Razorbacks are obviously a type of pig. So I think the Hogs would work. Warthogs, anything like that. I know some people were suggesting the Red Tails. Okay, that could have worked too. Red Wolves. All right, now we're starting to get a little bit annoying. I think that Hogs would have been great. And that's what I suggested right away. Commanders isn't the best. It's not the best.
I just was wondering who's going to get it confused. Like if you say, hey, man, you want to go see the Commanders? The Army-Navy game?
Right.
Like, no. Like the Washington Commanders, the football
Commanders
team.
Classic. Whoa. Come on, man. Come on, fellas. Like, okay. Like, again, I'm not trying to besmirch the Air Force here. But look, like that's they admit it. That's not the game anyone cares about. Air Force does have sick unis, though. People forget.
Oh, their unis are sick.
Their unis are dope. I love those unis. So I say Houston sports teams ran into an issue with trademark or something like that. All of a sudden, they have to change the nicknames like on the spot. What are we changing Houston sports nicknames to? I think the obvious one for the Astros is Colt 45s. And I get it. Guns, bad. But we would not have been able to settle any of the American West without the invention of the Colt 45. We wouldn't have. I actually read a book about this. It's called Empire of the Summer Moon, because the Comanches were just killing the bejesus out of all people who were messing with them that would go west, essentially, of San Antonio. And these guys were like amazing horseback riders. We're talking all-time horse riders. Like, if we're doing power rankings, like, probably tied for one, the Mongols, the Huns, and the Comanches. And the Comanches were, fighting with horseback archers against dudes with guns. So, like, you could argue, like, they were going up against, like, a much tougher schedule in a stronger conference than, like, the Mongols. Mongols are going up against, like, these losers from Europe who are all, like, in armor and, like, moving, like, 2 miles per hour and stuff. So, Astros, Colt 45s. Houston Rockets. Well, yesterday, we talked about Calvin Murphy's nickname. So, yeah, okay, maybe you can't be the Houston Rockets. Why not the Houston Pocket Rockets? Is that okay?
Why do I feel like you're going to be walking out with like a giant Barney and friends?
Well, it could be that. RJ. But how about, think about it.
We want to come off as mighty. Nope, you're the Pocket Rockets. You're not mighty.
But, okay, think about this. This is localized. If we're not going to do space-related things, some people might get those if they go to a strip club in Houston, right? So, what? What? It's Calvin Murphy's nickname, so there's like a little bit of history there. And if the Rockets have to get rebranded, how about that? Why not? Who says no?
I'm trying to figure out like another name because I'm trying not to like let this one go. I need another name.
How about the Houston Polecats, which is a strip club that is not that far away from here?
Paul.
I've never been. RJ. I would.
Do you want us to be a joke?
They kind of are right now. They're not good, and they're trying to bring back James Harden. So, but that's my favorite. That's my favorite strip club that I drive by, and every now and then, like just to be annoying, I've thought I should take a picture of this and say they have cats here, but it's spelled like Katz. But yeah, it's on Westheimer. I also love how like the Treasure strip club is like basically like 4 doors down from a school. Houston zoning is my favorite thing in the world. Okay. This one might be a little bit problematic, but okay. Think about this. You have the Houston Texans, right? So some people don't like the Houston Texans nickname. So how about this? Houston, insert other nationality. So you probably can't do Canadians, right? Because like we hate Canada. You can't do the Houston Californians, right? We hate California.
Hey.
We could theoretically do Houston Cubans, seeing as there are so many Cuban baseball players who are fleeing Cuba to come to Houston, right? The Houston Cubans. I kind of like that. How about this? And this is going to sound problematic. It's not intended to, but we do have a very large population of Mexican Americans living here. The Houston Mexicans? Would that work? No?
I smell a riot.
You smell a riot? Okay. Well, listen, I'm just throwing out, like, if it's not going to be Houston Texans, how about something else? And let's be honest, like, Sam Houston and company, they won. Texans haven't been winning a lot. Mexico, Santa Ana, they lost. I don't know. Kind of, like, and also the way that Santa Ana lost was very similar to the way that the Texans have lost over the last, like, couple of years, It's just like, oh, whoops, we took a nap in a field, and they got us. Damn.
Why don't we just buy the name from like the USFL team or something like that? Like just buy
Gamblers. The Roughnecks would be good, honestly, if we could.
But I feel like the Roughnecks are going to stay this time around. The USFL team, kind of on the fence.
The Houston unnecessary mandatory valet. That is at every single restaurant. It doesn't really roll off the tongue,
but it is what is here in Houston.
It is here in Houston. I kind of like that one. Someone texted Houston traffic cones, Houston potholes, the Houston lack of zoning, and it's really confusing at times. The Houston 290s, that's intimidating.
Houston traffic jams.
The Houston I-10 lanes. Huh? And then, of course, we have the University of Houston. How about the University of Houston Shockers? Because, well, obviously the hand, but more so because they're leaving the AAC and and joining the Big 12, and there's no longer any like potential issues with, Wichita State. So that's nice, right? So you change things up a little bit. Anyway, if you guys have Houston bike lanes, there are no bike lanes in Houston. Pretty much, if you're going to ride a bike here, you're probably going to die unless you do critical mass, which is the worst. Houston skeeters got to come back. Houston June bugs. Yep, there's a lot of those. What are the stupid bugs that like bang via the butt and they get like attached to each other? Are those June bugs? I forget what those are.
Why do I feel like they were called love bugs?
Love bugs. That's it, RJ. You're right. Yes, those things. If you drive to Austin, basically like starting, I don't know, in a couple of weeks, like your car will just murder. Like, it'll be just genocide. You'll be the Hitler of love bugs. You'll just kill all of them. Not good. Not good. Some alternative suggestions for Houston sports nicknames. The Houston cracked windshields. Yes. The Houston traffic jammers. Yep.
Without question.
Houston allergies, says Virginia Bunweed. Yeah, I get them bad. Like, I have to take a lot of allergy medication. And some years nothing happens, but other years there will be moments where I'm coughing so much and I'm doing a show by myself, and it is impossible. They've been kind of bad the last couple of days. Like, my nose has been running, but luckily my voice hasn't just stopped working all of a sudden, which it does every now and then. And he'll just be coughing, turning the microphone off. The Houston floods, problematic. Can't do that. Nope. There was a team called the Houston Hurricanes, RJ. I'm sorry, RJ. I'm going to keep on calling you Sean.
It's fine.
I'm so used to that.
Yes.
There used to be a team called the Houston Hurricanes back in the day in the old soccer league that was here. I forget which. It was the World Soccer League, the U.S. Soccer League. I'm not 100% sure, but there was that. Problematic. Can't do that anymore. This is probably my favorite from Double Rods. The Houston paper plates. Oh my God. The amount of cars that you see with paper plates in this city drives me crazy. Because I think to myself, okay, first off, this person probably isn't paying for insurance. Second off, this person probably hasn't registered their car. And I did all of those things. The Houston uninsured motorists.
Absolutely. That do not want to go to the DMV and just get the license plate.
Nope.
No.
I've been in 2 accidents in Houston, and
both have paper tags?
Neither were my fault, and both did not have insurance, and we could not track down the people to pay their end of the premium either of the times. Even though I actually physically knew where one of them lived, because it happened in my apartment parking lot. Some person just like drove in reverse into my car. And I'm like, are you serious? Awful. And the cops came, and I'm like, okay, at least the cops came. This is fine. There's a police report. And, I mean, I can't even imagine now where.
And they just disappeared off the face of the planet?
No. I saw them in the complex all the time. But the insurance company couldn't find them.
They didn't even offer, like, to say, like, hey, I'll give you, like, $300. Like, here's the.
Nope. And there was a part of me that wanted to knock on the door and be like, excuse me. But then I thought, maybe they'll shoot me, because that would be bad. I saw a story this week about a sad story that happened. Houston, you can't do Houston flood, guys. You guys are evil. Come on. The Houston brown waters. Well, that's Galveston. Come on. We don't have brown water. We don't do that. Houston humidity. All right.